Vibe Kage coming to you with the continuation of What If Esdeath Claim Deku Part 2. You're checking in this cool little thing that's my face. I decided fuck it, smile for y'all. I just recently got something. Um, you know, we just reached, yes. Okay, so how about none of y'all bother me for a minute so I can actually get to this video. Now, where I last left off, Toga took Hatsume and they had their own little fun, sexy time on their own shit. Now, let's go to how Esdeath and Izuku are, handling, something unique. You see, something that's happening. You see, Hayashi and Inko, they care for each other a lot, so they take honeymoons. Not honeymoons, but anniversary vacations. So they leave a lot, which means, pretty much the house is, alone with Izuku and Esdeath. Akame, who, she spends most of her time with her other friends, you know, they have the house alone, so they, tend to do their bedroom sparring, just not just in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the sofa, living room, upstairs, downstairs, basement, on the roof of the ceiling, sometimes just right outside the doorway, door open wide, as that's just like, hey, Izuku, don't stop now. Now, here's where some things are unique. You see, during one of their clapping sessions, their training sessions, someone would be there knocking on the door. Now, this person is someone who followed Deku and followed Esdeath. Now, keep in mind, this person doesn't really know that they're together. It's just more like giant ice fuck off, pillar shows up, rumors have it, blue-haired girls with this green-haired guy at this house. This is where we must go. So that's where this person is. Now, knock knock, more knock knocks. He looks at his phone and he's just like, huh. This is when, the door opens. You have a shirtless Izuku, he has some shorts on. As obviously he's been sparring, so he's sweating. He's just like, oh, hello. As his eyes widen, he's just like, oh, nice to meet you, sir. He bows. It is none other than President Mike. Now, I bet you're wondering why President Mike is here, especially with the ice. Well, here's the thing. Now hear me out, because this is going to get funny. You see, President Mike, who sees Esdeath with this large amount of ice, he has something to ask. It's just like, the aspect of her quirk is what's really weird. She wants to know, how does someone freeze that much with no water around? She kind of has to explain her quirk is, powerful. Okay, so if it's powerful, then what's your nerf? What's your limit to your quirk? Esdeath doesn't really, give President Mike too much answers. Now, President Mike is curious because something doesn't feel right. This much power for someone so young. I mean, yeah, he gets quirks or evolving, but even then, doing something of that and then walking away like you're not tired, yeah, that's kind of too sus. So, President Mike is here interrogating Esdeath, and, well, Esdeath, who's in a tank top and some shorts, she's acting very cold to him, trying to give him the presence of just fuck off already. Excuse me. Now, this is where things are going to be a little bit different. You see, President Mike, he's interrogating and asking Esdeath questions because, if he remembers correctly, this woman was, quote unquote, found by Izuku in that ice catacombs. Now, President Mike, who's already done his research, he's talked to All Might, he's talked to a few other officers who were there at that day, the day that Esdeath escaped, quote unquote. You see, President Mike, for some reason, is just under the impression that Esdeath, probably because of the name, is a villain. You see, power like that and then not going to the UA Academy, it felt too sus because, well, she admits she took the test, but she's not going to be going to UA. President Mike would ask why, and she explains that, Izuku currently would be going to UA, and his sister's going to UA, which means the number one title spot for UA for men's and women's is going to the Midoriya family. Esdeath doesn't want to compete with one of her best friends or her boyfriend's sister, which she's just thinking future sister-in-law. Izuku's just like, I'm pretty sure Esdeath would beat Akame in a fight. He's just thinking, not to disrespect my own sister, but I don't know. He's just like, Esdeath's fighting style, her raw physical power, and then the fact that she trained both Izuku and Akame is just like, I mean, if we both worked against Esdeath together, then we could win, but as far as I know, we both lose one-on-one situations against her. Now, Esdeath then explains how she's going to be going to, not UA, but Shiketsu for their military strength, and, her being more of a fighter than a actual hero, which, she admits, in her mind, killing should be, obvious. It should not be something you hesitate to do with your villains, especially those who already take life, as Death, claims the whole, in a situation where if a villain threatens the lives of others, then she will end his life to just avoid any more calamity. Now, President Mike, on the other hand, is just like, nah, we don't do that. Izuku over here just like, yeah, you don't. And, despite criminal rates dropping in the public eye, crimes in the dark world, the dark web, the crime syndicate deep in the underbelly, their power is rising because, you heroes don't take them out. They grow and then they start building technology that helps negate your quirks, helps boost their quirks, pretty much making up the whole difference, and they don't have an issue killing. So, if we're really supposed to protect the whole populace from people misusing their quirks, then that also means taking it a step further and making sure that anyone who steps out of line to disrupt the flow of peace is, ultimately killed. President Mike is also looking at Izuku just like, hey, you're kind of young to be thinking like this, so stop it. Izuku, on the other hand, is just like, you're too old to be so close-minded. Fuck out of my house. Esdeath kind of enjoys seeing Izuku be a bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but just more, I don't want to say manly either, because that kind of makes Izuku sound like a bitch. No, just more standing up for himself, more pride in of the things that he does. Now, we time skip a week. Izuku has gotten his letter, and so has Akame. Esdeath has filled out the paperwork for Shiketsu, and when she showed Izuku the leather suit, Izuku quickly fainted and, nosebleed. So he's just like, Esdeath, she smiles because she realized Izuku compliments her. So, yeah. Now, during this time, Izuku, he sits up. This is one of my favorite ones recently released by Shawabadi? Shwebadi, I think? Yeah, Big Curse Energy. When you're enemy. It's just something about it. It's just like so simple. I don't know. One more time. I like the beginning a lot too. Do. There we go. Curse Energy. With the Big Curse Energy. Big Curse Energy. Yeah. I love it. Anyway, back to the what if as, here's where things are going to get unique. You see, after President Mike tells the other UA teachers, well, she doesn't like how Esdeath is, so kill ready, and this Izuku kid and his sister Akame, they're also one of those, like, if killing needs to be done, they're probably going to be doing it, considering how Esdeath is, there for them, and has according to our knowledge, help train them to help master their quirks more. All my. What about. You're just interrupting me is all you're doing. Anyway, back to the what if. As, Esdeath, Izuku, Akame, UA has their 3 names ready. Now, not that they're thinking they're gonna go dark side, or that, it's more like, they're not necessarily, the most purest heroes. They're gonna be one of those, like, off-hinged, the one who people are just like, how are they still a hero if they're more brutal? Something along the lines of how an assassin, a hitman, and a police officer all shoot down the same guy, but at the same time, because the cop is, the one legally supposed to do it, the other two are, like, frowned upon. And that's kind of how, things are going to be looked at for Akame and Izuku. Now, over in Shiketsu High, Esdeath would quickly claim the #1 bitch spot. Kimi, Inuyasha, Meatball Guy, and, Wookie, the Wookie guy, who can control his hair. They all pretty much just, understand Esdeath is the strongest. Her ability to freeze everything. And, even when Inasa tried to fight him, not him, her, she legit froze time, hit him 3 times, and then, it was over. GG's. I don't know who that guy is, but I think that's like the 3rd. Yeah, that person really, really does, comment a lot. Infinite Dragon Sorcerer, just don't. Anyway, plus, I'm pretty sure, if they just wait for the video to be out, they'll have it. But what about when is this video going to be out? You posted this in other video thumbnails and you never posted them. Well, I have a personal life that I will put before my YouTube life. Since in personal life, I can watch other YouTubers. And I like doing that. I like making my own stuff. But keep in mind, other YouTubers get paid. I do not. So, if it means I can help them out just by watching their video, so be it. Every view here doesn't really get me money, so, yeah. I am almost tempted to just, I should make that a post. I am tempted to just make a 1 video per weekday. 1 vid a week. Anyway, back to the what if. See, I am tempted. Oh, this is Lost by NF and Hopkins. Now, wait, no, I wasn't trying to do that either. Damn it. Back to the what if. Like I was saying, damn it, phone. Okay, back to the what if. Like I was saying, in this timeline, Esdeath is #1 at Shiketsu. And, well, when Izuku and Akame go to UA for the first time, things get kind of weird. You see, they're both in 1A, so let me get this, out the way now. Uraraka's the one who won't be in Class 1A and in 1B, due to her not getting enough hero points in the same, rescue points to help her pass. Fucking hell, man. That guy is just like, didn't do 1 video a week. Since I can. See? Look at this. Motherfucker. You could have just left it at 1, but you kept on commenting, and that shit annoys me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit does annoy me when people just keep on commenting and commenting and commenting. I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out. Now, back to the what if. Like I was saying, Esdeath in this one, she kinda, well, while she won't be seen by the UA, faculty or students, there is one person who's been monitor, monitoring Esdeath, and it's pretty much been ever since, the Chisaikai lost Eri. The League of Villains, they've noticed, and, well, not just Esdeath, but that Izuku Midoriya. Those two in particular, their powers, all for one even said he can't steal them. Which surprises the rest of the League of Villains. Shigaraki himself was one of those like, but master, there's no quirk you can't steal. Exactly. What they have are not quirks. Due to the fact that I can, All for One has read some old, books and found out a few things. And, well, sure enough, he knows about Tengu, Imperial Arms, and the fact that what not Izuku, but Esdeath currently is doing is the demonic ice heart, Imperial Arm, one that pretty much lets her freeze anything and everything, including time, which, they're like, you can't freeze time, that's impossible. No quirk has that ability. And then All for One's just like, exactly. But she does not have a quirk. She has, a Tengu, an Imperial Arm. So, what it? Izukage could copy Geki Genkai. Oh, that's cool as shit. I have a message from him? What the fuck? Oh, yeah. Damn, that's lit. Back to the what if. As, I don't know how many times I said this, but I do recommend Izukage's page and YouTube. Now, I'll look it up as I continue on with the what if. Shigaraki would send in one person in particular to invade Shiketsu to get along. What it? Playing along. It was like a minute and a half though. I'm confused. No, like I was saying, Shigaraki would send mustard gas. Ah, here it is.
Yo, what is up guys, your boy Izukage here with a new what if, and this what if is what if Naruto could copy any Kekkei Genkai. So, I want you guys to do something for me real quick. Naruto is gonna have a...
Watch. If you like Naruto. Nations. New phone is not adapted to my speaking pattern yet, so it does that. Now, I'll come back to that one later. This is Venomous by Sullivan King, and I fucking love Sullivan King. Now, back to the what if. As, yeah, Mustard, it would be sent to Shiketsu High, where he would try and get close to... What? Hello, Shadow. Welcome to your home away from home. Marcus Red. Back to the what if. As, like I was saying, in this timeline, Esdeath, Izuku, they're monitored by the League of Villains and the heroes. Akame, they're watching her too, but, the heroes soon realize, okay, she's more of the, on our side, opposed to, let's kill, opposed to what Akame and everyone else is. Now, here's where things get kind of interesting. You see, in this timeline, when Izuku and Akame go in, Bakugo, who sees Akame and Izuku, is just like, doesn't say anything. You see, in this timeline, things are going to be different. And in case you're wondering who's the spy for Shigaraki in Class 1A and U, yeah, I'm just going to say it's Aoyama. And Aoyama made a deal with All for One to modify his quirk, remove it and give him a new one that would work very similar, so people don't really question it. And it's the fact that, naval laser, he could still shoot it if he wants to, but yeah, he doesn't do it anymore. Instead, he could shoot out laser beams from his eyes, and yeah, so he's all for one spy from Class 1A. So laser vision instead of laser naval, which, I'm not gonna lie, it's still kind of weird to me. I thought that was pretty an interesting power, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it. Naval laser. And then he shits himself, and I'm like, ah, ah, that was funny. Now, jokes aside, and let's get into the not heroes versus villains, the quirk application test. You see how things go differently. You see, Bakugo, who didn't get number one, would be kind of pissed when Izuku's first up. Izuku bulks up, his eyes turn into that monochromial with the cross eyes splits. He pulls back his right arm and then yeets the ball. Now the ball goes a solid 3,331 miles. Not miles, meters. Everyone's eyes were surprised. Deku smiles. This is called Space Death by Monix and Jekyll and Hyde, so vibe with me, my guy. Another thing that I want to quickly come with, since Akame's poison and venom manipulation won't really be useful in, the physical aspects of the quirk, that doesn't mean she doesn't do bad. She's still physically more gifted than every other person. Ida, who has a speed quirk with engine boosts on his legs, tied with Akame, who was poison manipulation because Akame's speed was just that fast. She even, explains that she trains her body in speed because her quirk is more of those not meant to fight, but to end the fight type of quirks. So, that being said, she built up her body. She trained so much that she could just, go out the whole fight, never needing her quirk, and only using her quirk if, it's what would level the playing field for her. So, someone like Bakugo, who would use his explosions for speed boosts, would see that Akame's physical strength and speed is greater than his, which, annoys him, but at the same time, it's just like, yes, of course this woman is better than me. She's Akame. Like how some actual fans are for Akame. Now, that being said, things get kind of weird, especially when you have, Aoyama trying to befriend Izuku. Now, Izuku in this timeline, not that he won't trust Aoyama, but, Aoyama's sparkly personality and, weird, high-class, fancy-smancy shit, due to Izuku spending some time with Esdeath, that really, that shit didn't really work well with him. Now, what I mean by that is, he doesn't ignore her, just necessarily just ignore her, no, ignore him, my bad. Now, he's not necessarily ignoring Aoyama, but just kind of telling him, your kind is not the same as mine. He points over to Ida, and he's just saying, if you want someone who's just like, oh, I'm so much better than you, he points to Ida, Specs over there could probably give you something. Akame then points to Bakugo and saying, if not, Butterhands over there can get you. As Aoyama is just like, who are you? As he looked at Akame, kind of annoyed. Akame is just like the girl who can whoop your ass 10 different ways in a minute. Izuku's just like, she's my sister. Aoyama's just like, fuck, I fucked up. First meeting, gone to trash. And, well, you have Ida and Bakugo who are just like, blah, 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 blah. You can't say he's better than everyone else and then think I'm like him. You're like, bro, what are you doing right now? Criticizing. It comes, Bakugo, on the other hand, he's just saying, like, I'm nothing like this blonde idiot. Blah, blah, blah. Explosion, explosion, explosion. Sure enough, it ends with Aizawa wrapping both Ida and Bakugo, pulling them away, as he tells Aoyama, like, hey, your friend not friend thing. No, your attempt to making friends. Leave that shit for outside of school. We're here to build heroes. Izuku and Akame both are quick to be like, hey, we didn't do dick to them. It's just more like they came towards us. We promise. They both place a hand over their heart and then their left hand over their heart and raise their right hand. As they both say, we solemnly swear to do no bad against you, Shota Aizawa Sensei, pro hero Eraserhead. Everyone's just looking at them like, the fuck is they on? Aizawa's just like, they know who I am. Izuku's eyes, who are monochromio, look right at Aizawa's. As Izuku's saying, oh yeah, I know pretty much every single hero and quirk here for the teachers. Izuku would, rub the back of his head as a slight blush comes to his head. As Akame just blurts it out for him, he's a hero fanboy. As Izuku's just like, hey, you don't gotta say it like that. Akame's just like, yeah, but you had pajamas for every single male pro hero until you were 10. So, fanboy. Izuku blushed. Aizawa's just like, what the? This is weird. Akame, who looks at Aizawa as, she's just like, she likes his martial arts style. She but read a few things about how his fighting style with the capture scarf are very, in tandem with one another. How he pretty much pushes people to make certain moves so he can then wrap them up with the scarf to deal in with finishing blows. Entire time erasing their quirk whenever he needs to. Not necessarily relying on his quirk, but using his quirk whenever it gave him the most beneficial advantage. Akame would actually ask, in front of everyone too, she's just like, would you personally mind, training me in the ways of your capture scarf? Her venom and poison quirk, I mean, if she was just like more like her brother, and okay with this, I need to kill rather than, capture, then, yeah, she wouldn't be asking for this training, but she does want to capture him and, put people, get them in trials, make them pay, rather than just the simple, wipe out their existence so they can't fuck up more. Akame's is more like, she feels they need to serve out justice in time, while Esdeath Izuku, or Esduku, if you will, they're more like a, you fucked up, you will not fuck up again, so we will end you. And that's their shit. Now, Akame does kind of have that, she wants to give other people, second chances, but she knows some just, won't change. And at the moment, she thinks Bakugo won't change. So, yeah. Now, as time progressed and the heroes, watched Akame and Izuku more, they were able to clearly tell that Akame was the one who has more of a higher life value, and will capture capture the villains alive rather than, go for killing blows. But the distinct difference between Izuku and Akame was, Akame struggled to make that personal connection with people. She couldn't really just be like, stop crying, you brat, which she kind of was. Izuku, on the other hand, was more of a gentle person who actually cared for the people he knew, which kind of made them meh. It was like Akame had poor bedside manners but wouldn't kill. Izuku had the best bedside manners and was, quick to shoot a motherfucker down between the eyes. Izuku, who showed the saving the human heart of, the person who needs help and ending the life of those who are hurting them. Akame would be, just like, I captured the bad guy. We're making him pay. But, she never really could do much on the comforting the victims. The best she could do was just tell them, I will capture him for you. But there are some cases where, it wouldn't really work out for them, in a sense, because they don't want the person captured. They'd more or less want them dead. This is where Izuku shines through. You see, Izuku had the ability to save the human soul before they could fully want to damn someone to death. Now, if the soul was too far gone and they did want that person to die, Izuku fully understood why. He wasn't going to tell them that what they want is wrong. No, he'll be straight up with it. He understands why, they want this person dead, and because of that, he'll do it. He doesn't see any issue with it. He knows that what he does is, pretty much putting them on a parallel path to what these monsters are. But the difference here is just, what Izuku fights for. Izuku is fighting for the weak to get a chance to be strong so they can protect future generations. And Akame is just more like protect, everyone and team up with people to stop the bad guys. If the bad guys come back up, then we'll just stop them. Again. But Izuku is always the one with the, but if they win, they won't always show you the same kindness. Or, if they take down your friend, are you sure you can continue on, just not going with a kill? Izuku pretty much is, how he explains it to Class 1A when they ask him about it is just, he doesn't want to give a villain who's already killed people, the chance to kill someone on his team because he decided, nah, I can't do the same thing to him. I can't let him, end. I can't end him just because he ends other people. Izuku straight up says if it results in the death of his friend or some other innocent, then there was no fucking point in him becoming a hero because he didn't save anyone. He let them die. And he will not allow that to stand. So, he will take the step further and be the executioner. He will be judge, jury, and executioner. He doesn't care if other people will hate him for him. He knows that the people who he does save, he was judge, jury, executioner, and he got the justice that my family needed. It would be the whole perspective thing, which, Class 1A is just more like, but hold up. They start thinking about it too, and now they're in awe, and I do mean all of them are, set up with this, new conflicting dilemma. The villain is down, you beat him, your back is turned, and he goes to kill you. Your friend takes the bullet for you. Your friend dies, you have another chance to kill the villain, as the villain is laughing, saying how he'll never change. Do you let your friend's sacrifice, be just that? Is your friend the final person he kills while you kill your friend? No. One more time. Is the villain, who's last kill your friend because you killed the villain? Or do you just, fucking break and, you knock him out, but then he'll kill more, making your friend's death not the last one and, kind of meaningless. Their death was because you were negligent. So, given in situations like this, they're like, but we probably won't even be put in that. But if you are, what do you do? Are you willing to take a step forward? He explains in hostage situations when the villain is ready to kill the the victim. Villain ready to kill the victim. Could they see themselves ending the villain before the victim ends himself? Which Class 1A was a whole, fuck up of emotions. There were some who were just like, but we wanted to be rescue heroes. So you want to save people. What do you do if the person you're saving is about to be killed by somebody else? That's still a thing. That killer's coming towards both of you now. You now have to fight. How do you survive this? So even the ones that were just trying to do stealth and rescue heroes, their minds and their realities, their perspectives of the world are expanding, growing ever so slightly, due to the fact that Izuku's, realism and Darwinism are starting to mix with their minds. Now, in the heroes versus villains fight, opposed to Uraraka being partners with Izuku, I'm gonna have it be where it's Momo and, Akame's with Mineta. But Mineta knows better not to try anything with Akame because Akame, was just like venom melts protein and destroys it. Your hair is made out of protein. So as she threw some poison venom mixture on Mina's sticky balls, it actually just started to melt through it. And yeah, Mineta was confused on this until she explains the properties of poison and how they break down the proteins in muscles. And, you know, hair is nothing more than protein, made out of protein. Dead protein, but, you know, the fact that it still comes from an organic substance means her poison can still destroy it. So, hey, don't fuck with me, little boy. Now, the fight between Izuku, Momo, and Bakugo and Ida go very differently in this timeline. You see, Momo is aware that Izuku's raw physical strength and his Darwinism antics, kind of make her seem like she's the weakest one. But Izuku, actually is quick with it. You make weapons that are very useful to defend. You have to know the atomic structure. I was struggling for a second actually. Sure, you have to know the atomic structure of what you're making, but you still make weapons, and weapons are very useful. Momo would blush because she likes the compliment. Plus, Izuku's still, one of those kind-hearted people. So, as our timeline continues, Izuku goes off with Momo. Bakugo would still be the first one to fight them, blocking the doorway. Not doorway, but the hallway. As, Izuku looks at Momo, Momo produces a large fire tarp covering herself. Izuku raises up his right palm and his left palm as a red and blue flame, form. Todoroki's eyes widen because, he sees red and blue flame, so he's just thinking, Dad! Brother! PTSD activating, PTSD activating, PTSD activating. Ice is starting to leak out of Todoroki's, right side, so yeah. Just ever so slightly, Aizawa had to erase the quirk and tell Todoroki to calm down, which Todoroki had to, just like, what was I doing? I just saw fire and I started to freeze. Now, in this timeline, Bakugo sees the flames and he's just like, fine then, let's go! As he pulls the pins from his grenades, launching a maximum full burst explosion. Izuku was just like a double fire pillar wall, one of red flames and one of blue flames, just completely tanks and blocks all of the explosion. Izuku would shoot forward, not black wings, but black whip activated. As he sticks out his hand, black tendrils shoot out, wrap around Bakugo's arms. He pulls him in forward. Not that get over here scorpion method, since it's not a kunai with chain. Nah, it's just black tendrils pulling him in. Kind of like how Venom would. So he pulls him in. Deku instantly raises up his right knee, hitting Bakugo right in his forearms, who blocked. Bakugo gets sent flying back into the wall. Izuku rushes forward. Momo takes out the tarp and then goes forward. She creates a staff, chucks it towards Izuku. Izuku catches it, spins it around. Everyone is surprised because the moment he trolls it with both hands, the staff ignited in a brilliant display of blue and red flames, swirling around as Izuku spins the staff and then swings it down, hitting Bakugo. This causes a slight boom. Bakugo gets sent through a few more walls. Momo's just like, I can't believe it worked. Izuku smiles as he's saying, it's all thanks to your brilliant mind and how you made the weapon. Momo blushes. She kind of likes this and complimenting. And, well, yeah, they go off. Ida's just like, what in the world? He's just like, what is this explosions? As he's just like, it must be my villain partner. Haha, he's caught those heroes off guard. Sure enough, nah. Izuku and Momo walking through the door. Izuku's still holding the staff, spinning it, twirling it ever so lightly with just one hand. Ida's just like, don't think you've won yet, heroes. I am the greatest villain of all! As, Reciprocal Burst rushes forward. Momo, so quick as, from her stomach, a rushing nesting doll, which I can't say the full name, so don't at me at this. She just spits one out, it opens, oil falls through, Ida slips, Izuku spins his staff, blue and red flames come back again, and then he just thrusts forward. The flames connect, ignite, big boom, Ida gets his shit slapped and sent outside. He actually does crash through the window, about to fall. Everyone's just like, oh god! Izuku, within a moment's notice, was just like, Black Whip! Tendrils shoot out, you know, grab Ito by the leg, and he just kind of dangles him outside from the window. Momo just casually touches the bomb. Hero team wins. Everyone was surprised. We have this slight moment with Todoroki and Izuku. A slight, you use fire, fire bad. Izuku's just like, how is fire bad? Your quirk is half fire, half ice. Todoroki just like, no, me no like fire. Fire father, father bad, father fire bad. You have fire, you bad too. Izuku's just like, I don't know what caused you to devolve into a Neanderthal, but if you want to make stupid claims like that, be my guest. Understand this. My fires, your dad's flames, and every other person who uses any form of heat, it doesn't mean it's the exact same flame. Izuku tells not Bakugo, but Shoto, if he doesn't want to, use his fire and just use his ice, then drop out. Drop out of this goddamn school. I worked way too goddamn hard to let some half little piece of shit who's too scared to use his own power, tell me that my power is bad because it gives him some nightmares. He throws Todoroki off of him. What? Mark is red. I don't know who the fuck that was. Now, in this timeline, as things progressed, not timeline, but in this canon, you'll see Todoroki would be shocked that anyone would treat him like such a thing. You would have Akame who would tell Izuku to chill his shit, he didn't do anything that wrong. It was just like, she nudges him, says the word scar without saying anything. Izuku's just like, that has nothing to do with me though. Akame slaps Izuku for being insensitive. Just like, he doesn't like fire, has a scar and a burn mark. Don't you think fire might have something bad to do with him? And you making fun of him is not going to help him, Izuku. Izuku's just like, Akame, I'm pretty sure that if, he had poison control rather than fire, he would be telling you the exact same thing. It's not fire itself, Akame. He hates himself. It's obvious. Look at his eyes. In his own eyes, there's nothing but hatred. Hatred for the name, as he says it, Todoroki. Now, Todoroki's eyes widen as, Izuku's right. He does hate his own last name. But why? Izuku's just pretty much just like, fire, your dad's endeavor. Whatever issues you have with your dad, fix it before you even attempt to be a hero. Until then, stay out of my classroom. Which, everyone's just like, whoa. He's just talking to the number 2 hero's, kid like that. You would have Aizawa who wraps Izuku's face up and, yanks him, looks him dead in the eyes and saying, excuse me, whose class is this? Aizawa undoes the bandages saying, now one more time so you can fully understand it. It's your class, Aizawa-sensei. Aizawa lets go fully of Izuku, as then he looks at Todoroki, as, he looks at Izuku. He looks back at Todoroki. Then he looks back to Izuku. He straight up tells him, harsh, but you're right. That being said, as, Aizawa looks at Izuku very, very angrily. Understand this, Izuku. Mr. Izuku Midoriya. You might be comfortable using your powers, but until you know someone's past, don't judge them. Izuku would be quick with something real quick on this one with Aizawa, as he looks at Aizawa and he tells him, so, are you talking about the one with your, I think it was Oboro? right? Hold up, let me look up his last name. Oboro Shirakumo. Izuku straight up says the name that Aizawa's eyes widen. Izuku's just like, yes, I'm aware of the past. Did you not hear me earlier when I said I know all the quirks here at the school? This gets. Oh, yeah, I'm a listening in real quick. As Izuku straight up saying, ever since he was a kid, he looked up to heroes and took multiple notes. He studied heroes, their quirks, and understood countermeasures and ways to improve them. He even figured out how to use technology in similar fashions, one to either dampen someone's quirk or one to boost their quirk. But when his power started to manifest on its own, he's honest. He put that down. But, that's only, let's be honest, just not even half the years that he spent writing the actual notes. Izuku admits his information is more ingrained into his brain and body than it should be, but he just knows his shit. He knows. Hold up. Real quick, so you could see, my coworker Terrell made omelets, and I had to do, IHOP omelets under Tyler Perry omelets because one of the nicknames I have for Terrell is Tyler Perry because he had Tyler Perry glasses, and well, now he no longer wears the glasses, but that's been a nickname for almost 2 to 3 years now, so it's not leaving. Also, he what? Stain turns into Rock Lee. Deku turns what? What? Into Gara and bitch slap Stain. Yes, yes. Anyway, I mean, you're not wrong. Oh, hi, Vibe Kage. I watch you. Tell me why I thought you was. Eh? I mean, I am, and I'm not. I'm recording. Yep. Yeah, part 2. Oh, I mean, it's being recorded right now. What was that? What if Izuku was abandoned, part 1? What if? Back to the what if. Like I was saying, you see in this timeline, things are a little bit different. Now, after Izuku, pretty much bitch slapped everyone. Not everyone, but slaps Aizawa's pride. Mark is red. Some things happen. Now. Sorry. Fuck. Okay, yawning out. Done. Like I was saying, Izuku pretty much explains he had hero notes on every single person here. There was no one in UA that he can't figure out a weakness for. I've been waiting by Little Peep. Fucking love this song. I've been waiting. I've been waiting up. I can get enough. Oh, I feel faded. When I fall apart.